What's the worst that can happen, huh? What is the worst that can happen? Alright, that's on. That's playing. Which means I can go back to doing what I need to do, which is paint. Alright. Let's see, that's pulling through, that's pulling through. The lighting is bad, but I don't think there's necessarily anything I can really do about that. Let's see if I can crank that up. Crank that soldier boy a little bit. There we go. It's tough because I got this light right here. Paint a dragon? No! I'm gonna be painting Squighog boys. Love these freaks. Of course it's not gonna focus, is it? There we go, that's what we want. That's what we want. I haven't painted these guys on stream yet, I don't think. They've been more of an offline project for me, and of course it's not gonna focus, isn't it? There we go. Thought it'd be a good chance to show them off, to be honest. I've kind of been putting off painting my Squighog boys for a number of reasons. One of them is that the stage I'm at now involves me painting a lot of yellow. And painting yellow fucking sucks. So I just need to get off my ass and do that. Let's see. What am I doing here? Okay, get a bit of medium. Get a bit of water. And I should be good to go. There we go. Yellow's always such a difficult color to paint with, I find. I know someone's given me a technical explanation as to why that is, but I'm going to be fully honest, I've 100% forgotten what it is. 100% I've forgotten. I think it has something to do with the pigments, or like, whatever bugs they have to crush up to make that yellow color. I don't know. Let's see. I will say, though, having to paint yellow really forces you to pay attention to how your colors are diluted. Well, not diluted. I guess that's not the right word I'd use. I guess the word I would use is, how you mix the paints, rather. Because, I mean, for me, one of the things that I always struggle with when it comes to painting is having to mix the, having to mix the acrylic paint with water. I always mess up whatever that mixture is. Because to me, I'm very bad at judging the consistency of paints. And when you're dealing with very light colors, like yellow, you have to know what that consistency is. Otherwise, the whole thing simply doesn't work. It simply doesn't. It simply does not. Alright, let's see if I can do this. Okay. There we go. I also find that with these models in particular, there's a lot of real awkward spaces that you have to get into. Well, I say that as I'm painting a kit-bashed element of the kit, which absolutely was not there the first time. First time watching, what you doing? I'm painting Warhammer! A fun little miniature game about fantasy people in space killing each other with giant weapons. Let's see if that focuses there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm just in that awkward space where I'm, like, painting a lot of the, like the flat colors. Oh god, what's that doing? Focus! There we go. I'm still in that real awkward stage where I'm painting a lot of the flat colors before I add any of the like super fun detail or anything like that. So it's basically just me putting layer after layer after layer of really boring flat colors onto my models. And then from there I actually go through and have the fun part with all the detailing. Hell yeah! We love Eldar players in this house. Well, maybe I'm only saying that because I'm not a tournament player. But I love those pointy little freaks. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people complain about the Eldar for a lot of reasons. But you know what? I feel like I'm nowhere near at the level of... I'm nowhere near the level of player... I'm nowhere near the tier of player required to be complaining about quote-unquote professional metas or competitive metas in Warhammer. Right now I'm just having fun painting. And that's it. To me, painting's the funnest part of Warhammer, to be honest, like... I don't know, I want to play the game eventually, but... I mean, I have to build an army first, right? And you know what, the collecting's the fun part. The collecting is the fun part. My dad plays Tyranids? Hell yes! We love a family that plays Warhammer together. Because then that means you can just share all the models. Makes it cheaper, at least. Let's see. Ow. Oh, jeez, I just spilled paint all over my hands. Gross. There we go. Yeah, painting yellow is like super fucking annoying. Because it's literally just like, I don't know what it is. I think it's like something to do with the pigments, but it's literally just having to put layer after layer after layer of really light color on a really dark base coat. And the whole thing just takes 20 million years. I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, like, every color paint always has its own challenges to deal with, right? Like, even some of the basics, like Macragge blue, can really mess up if you don't thin it down properly. But I find that yellow's really hard to get that proper consistency with. Which is obviously what you want when you're painting Warhammer, you know what I mean? I love your outfit. Thank you. It does slay. At least that's what I'm going with. I wear crop tops for fun and fashion, and also it's hot. It's summer. I don't want to wear long sleeves. Maybe it would help if I had air conditioning, but I do not. Let's see. I gotta say, I thought the fishnet glove would be, you know, I thought that would be a bit of a detriment when it came to my painting hands, but I feel like it is subconsciously keeping me more focused. Because that way, I am terrified of getting it stained. Because you can't clean fishnets. You simply can't. You can't put them in a washing machine anyway. I've made that mistake one too many times. Alright. Alright. Alright, I just know I'm gonna have to spend years putting layers of yellow on this thing. Which sucks, because it's my own, it's literally, like, I only have to put so much yellow on this thing because it's my own goddamn choice. Like, this thing that the model's holding, let's see if that focuses there. This is absolutely not a standard piece of the model. He's holding, like, a giant Tesla cannon thing, which I ripped straight from another model kit. This is a Squighog boy. He should not have heavy Cybertronic weaponry, but he does, because I think it's cool. Let's see. Which also means I have to really get under a lot of things. Like, there's a... I mean, Orks are one of the hardest chapters to paint in terms... Well, okay. Maybe that out of context would be a little bit weird, but Orks are one of the most frustrating chapters to paint, I find. Because they got a lot of weird spaces. Like, because Orks have, like, the really big chins, it's, like, really difficult to paint underneath them a lot of the times. And they got, like, these weird, big, muscly arms, which, like, you know, lead to really confined, fleshy spaces, which is hard to get a paintbrush into. I mean, maybe that's just my excuse for being a bad miniature painter, but I'm sticking to it. So yeah, he's just holding a big old Tesla cannon. It's just like, there we go. I probably should have looked a little bit more into the models before I started building them, because I didn't realize that the Squighog boys in particular, for the Orks. Like, I didn't know they were a melee-oriented unit, so I made the rookie mistake of giving them all really big, huge guns. That was probably a mistake. I love your outfit. Thank you. I like it too. Contrast paint works wonders for Orcs. See, that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. Like, I've only tried contrast paints once in my life, and I don't think I have an example anywhere here because I recently cleaned my fucking absolute mess of a room, so all of my half-painted models that were just scattered everywhere are gone, which is good for me, but, you know. But I've only tried contrast paints once, and I feel like if I tried contrast paints sooner, then I would have absolutely, I would have way more contrast paints. That's all I'll say. Do I need to buy a lot of paint for beginners? You don't actually need to buy a lot of paint. Like, honestly, if you are just a beginner and wanting to get into Warhammer, I would, you know, I just look to get one of the, like, they have a lot of basic starter sets, which give you, like, one model and, like, a bunch of paints. Like, but only the amount of paints you need. Like, I remember I got the Space Marine starter kit. And I think it came with, like, 3 Space Marines and, like, 5 pots of paint. A black, a blue, a bronzy gold, like, it literally could go either way. And, like, 2 other colors, I think, from memory. And that was literally all you needed. That's literally all you need to get started with painting in Warhammer. Like, you don't actually need all that much, and the starter sets are usually pretty reasonably priced, or as reasonably priced as Warhammer can be. I have a hard time relying on contrast paints on their own, but they do a lot of great work in getting my color scheme down. Hell yes! I get a lot of content on social media about some really cool things that people are able to do with contrast paints. Like, I've seen a whole lot of technical videos about people who, like, prime their models in really weird ways. Like, they'll do a base coat of, like, a really bright teal, almost, which is an interesting choice for a base coat, I feel like. But they'll have, like, a really bright teal, and then they'll dry brush on top of that base coat, and then put the contrast paints. And because contrast paints are so thin, and so watery, like, you still get all that really nice shading from the dry brushing, except it's kind of, like, underneath the base color of the contrast paint. It's really hard to explain verbally, but once you see the examples that I've seen, it's, like, mwah. I love really well-painted miniatures. That's a cool top. Thank you. I recently got it, and I'm trying to stretch it out because it is very tight. Sometimes I get shirts that don't fit me quite right, and I'm like, if I wear it for a little bit, it will fit me better. Which paint tastes the best? That is a very good question, and it is a piece of context that I have spent many hours conducting important research on. I have a YouTube video that you can watch on my channel about which paint tastes the best. I don't think I chose which paint tasted the best. I think I just rated them on all their flavors. It's a very dumb video. I remember I really liked Corn Red. That was one of my favorites taste-wise. That was a dumb video. Why did I make that? That video was literally just me sitting in my room for like 30 minutes pretending to drink paint. But then again, that's just my style of comedy, you know? Like, I like to think about a dumb topic and then act upon it as though it's a very real, serious scientific discussion. It's just my sick and twisted sense of humor, man. NECA painting isn't hard. It takes time, and there's a lot of YouTube videos to watch. I love the fact that there are a lot of YouTube videos that you can watch when it comes to Warhammer painting. Like, literally any, what do you call it? Like, literally, there's tutorials you can get on anything. Like, I know that there's some people who do, like premium tutorials for painting Warhammer. I even know the Warhammer team does them themselves on their, like, Warhammer Plus little subscription service thing that they have. You know what I mean? But to me, I've never really understood the value proposition of those, because you can literally just go onto YouTube at any point in time and, like, literally just find, like, a billion different tutorials for how to paint Warhammer, like, to a master level. So it's like, why would I pay for it, you know? Like, of course, like, creative people should get that bag, absolutely. And if there are people who are willing to pay, money for, you know, that kind of professional tutorial, by all means. I just don't see the value proposition. Alright, let's see. Alright, I think I put a whole bunch of yellow on his, like, Tesla can. Of course it's not going to focus. There we go. I feel like with the shape that this thing is, it looks like I'm handing you a blunt. And that upsets me to some degree. God, See, I think this model would actually look pretty good in its current unfinished state if the teeth were colored in. Like, literally, if the teeth were colored in, then... Or if the teeth were colored in properly, I should say. Like, this thing would look fine. I know there's still a couple of layers that I need to do on, like, the Squighog's metal. Like, it's sort of like a... I'm going for a bit of a rusty brown rather than a black. You know what I mean? Ooh, it's clean. Thank you. That is 100% the camera doing that, because when I look at it, it is not clean. There is much work that still needs to be done, but I'm doing the work. And that's the important thing. I love your outfit. Thank you! I like it too. Where did you get your top? I think I got this from AliExpress, from memory. I got a couple of things still kicking around from AliExpress that I bought. I don't like to buy stuff from AliExpress a lot because it's, you know, pretty cheaply made and not the best quality a lot of the time. But, you know, when I first started doing this, or first started, like, dressing alternatively, I wanted to get a bunch of cheap stuff because I didn't know if I'd like doing it. So I didn't want to break the bank. So I bought a bunch of stuff from AliExpress. There you go. Okay, what am I doing? Alright. I think I still have a couple of yellow layers that I need to put on this guy, who's the... I think he's like the boss knob of the Squighog boys. I'm not sure what the correct term is. I think it's the... like, the squig boss on the Squigosaur or something like that. But, I've still got a few layers to do with him. As I sort of said before, I've got a lot of guns on this guy. Like, he has several rocket launchers to his name. I put all those rocket launchers on him before I realized that the Squighog boys are a melee-oriented unit and have really bad shooting stats. So... Is that Warhammer? It absolutely is. Love those warring boys. Love those funny little orcs. That's pretty dope, Warhammer. Thank you! I've got a whole bunch of projects that are like halfway in progress at the moment. Like, I'm really just trying to get through my pile of shame as best as possible, because literally it's like... I don't know how I describe it. I guess I want to buy more. I want to buy more Warhammer. That's absolutely true. Like, I want to buy more Warhammer, and in order for me to buy more Warhammer, I need to finish the stuff that I already have. Like, I can't just buy more if I have a huge pile of shame. Good grief. Alright. Okay. Now, again, I know I'm going to be stuck in yellow purgatory here, because I am, like... I hate painting yellow. I hate painting yellow, and I hate the fact that I made an orcish color scheme for my orcs that was so dependent on yellow. Like, I know there's color schemes that require a whole lot more yellow. Like, I think it's... Who are they? Whoever the speed freaks are. The like, no, wait. The orcs who drive the cars are, like, blue, I think, from memory. But there's, like, one orcish warband that's, like, 100% yellow. And... Hot take, but I think it's ugly. Workout routine? My workout routine is going to the gym every day, or every morning, once a day, until I realize I should probably take a break. My workout routine, very regrettably, is to literally just go until my body says, hey, stop what you're fucking doing and sleep. That's my workout routine, honestly. That's why I had a rest day today. Like, I know myself, and one of the things I know about myself is that if I don't actively force myself to take breaks, I will very regrettably push myself until I stop. You know what I mean? Like, I will, if I don't stop myself from, you know, working out or working too hard, I will burn out very easily. And that's something that I know about myself. Like, even just looking at it from the lens of Warhammer, you know, like, rest day every day. God, that's absolutely right. I wish I could be like that. I wish I could rest. Yeah, even in the vein of, like, Warhammer or something, it's, like, I did like a community challenge earlier in the year. I think I've talked about this on stream before. You know what I mean? Cute top, thank you. I did a community challenge earlier in the year, which is how I got into painting orcs, actually. It was a New Year, New Army challenge, where you had to get a new army box of some kind, and you had to paint it in, like, 3 months. Now, that sounds like a very long amount of time, but when you have work and other obligations as well, like, it can get pretty difficult. And I kind of forced myself to sit down and get through it. Like, I gotta paint, right? And that wasn't super healthy. I painted probably a little bit too much. My hands started cramping. And it probably wasn't the best for me. So now just take it easy. Which is one of the reasons why I've started, like, streaming my painting process, because it's nice to just you know, get on a live stream and just paint and chill out for a bit. You know, paint, talk, everything like that. Because I think it's fun. I think it's chill. And if I don't force myself to sit down and chill, I will not. You know what I mean? I love that top. Thank you. It is a new one for me, and I'm putting it through its paces because I need to stretch it out somewhat. All right. Now, thankfully, this model has like this model has like less yellow on it than some of the other ones. So that's, well, I say that. I think I only say that because the yellow that I have painted has been like, what do you call it? Like, I've already got a couple of layers on it. For me, one of the biggest things when I'm painting is that, like, I can never imagine what the model's going to look like towards the end. So I'm just going through and I put, like, the first couple of layers on, and it's really splotchy, it's not even, you got all the, like, paintbrush marks and everything like that. And I'm just sitting there going like, hey, this sucks. I hate the way that this looks. But then I keep at it, and then after I get a couple more layers of paint on, then it starts to look the way that I like. So, yellow is great for contrast on the Mini. Oh, hell yeah, it is. Where's a good example? Like, literally the only reason that I paint in yellow is because of this guy. You know what I mean? Come on, let him focus. Like, before I painted my war boss, all of my Orc minis were just kind of like brown and green. Like, I wanted them to have a sort of like browny, leathery color scheme. But when it came to painting the war boss, I was like, okay, I need a bit more of an accent color. You know what I mean? So I went with yellow because brown and yellow has a really good dichotomy. And then from there, that was it. So now my entire army has the brown and yellow color scheme. Like, I've got this Dackerjet here. I'm still in the middle of painting. Like, the yellow is like really splotchy here. But I think, you know, a sort of bronzy brown with a yellow highlight sort of thing is, I think it's a really good color scheme. I don't know what else to say. Brown and yellow, good colors. Here and now. What are those figures from? This is Warhammer 40,000. The world's greatest miniature war game. That's not my official endorsement. I think that's literally what their tagline is, and I think they have so little competition within their field. They can say that they're the best because nobody else can dispute that. The jet looks great. Thank you. I really need to get back to the jet, honestly. Like, the jet is... I've got so many models that I just have around that are in that really weird stage of, like... They're not ready to do any of the fun stuff. Like, I can't dry brush it, I can't detail it. All the yellows still need an extra coat of paint. I still need to put metallics. Like, all of those grey pipes, I want to put lead belcher on. But I just put several layers of grey to sort of, like, build it up to be a little bit lighter before I add the metallic. Add the metallics, not add the metallics. I'm not New Zealandish. But yeah, so I've just got so many models just lying around that, like, I just need to do a little bit more work on, and then I can do the fun stuff. That's it. I mostly play D&D, but Warhammer figurines or something else. I was honestly the same way. Like, before I got into Warhammer, I was a big D&D head. Still am. It never leaves you. If you play D&D a little bit, then you will just, like, you know, love playing D&D forever. Like, I don't think there's anything that anyone can really do to make you fall out of love with Dungeons & Dragons if you like it at some point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's, like, I remember even when there was all that Dungeons and Dragons has had a lot of controversy over the years. They have done a lot of things as a business that have just been kind of weird that people have not liked. But if you love playing Dungeons and Dragons, you love playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that is literally the extent of that. You know what I mean? And even if you absolutely hate Dungeons and Dragons as a company, you just go to play Pathfinder. Or, like, one of the other, like, fucking myriad of other tabletop playing games out there. Exactly, D&D has so much to it. Absolutely. You know, I'm a big D&D head, and, like, I've joked a lot about Pathfinder over the years. Like, I was one of those guys who was just like, hey, Pathfinder sucks. Like, it's just D&D with extra steps. But now that I'm a little bit older, and now that I'm a little bit wiser, I can just sort of sit here and go like, you know what, Pathfinder? You're alright. You ain't too bad. Wait, what did D&D do? I'm out of the loop. D&D's done a lot of stuff over the years, and I think that is just sort of a byproduct of it being a game that's been around, like, since the 80s, sort of thing. Like, you know, there's some classic adventures or some classic monsters that are rooted in, you know, negative ideologies, to say the least. You know, they've done a lot of, like, a lot of, I guess the modern controversies have been more like their business practices. Like, all the weird shit that they do with D&D Beyond sort of thing is, yeah, that's been, like, a lot of what people have been upset about. Like, on D&D Beyond, you used to be able to, like, buy individual components of the game. Because, like, normally, if you wanted access to a particular subclass or a new set of magic items, you would need to... Okay. You would need to, like, buy an entire campaign guide for that. Like, if you wanted to, for example, play as the Aasimar race in Dungeons & Dragons, you would need to buy a campaign guide for a campaign that you weren't necessarily going to run. Do you know what I mean? And so it was this really, like, complex thing, and so they gave you the option to just buy all those individual pieces a la carte, sort of thing. Like, you could buy the races, you could buy the subclasses that you wanted to play in the game for, like, $2, right? And then they got rid of that. So it's like, now, if you want to play a particular, you know, race, subclass, or particular thing from a particular expansion of D&D, you had to buy the whole $70 book. Which sucks! You know what I mean? And it's just expensive, it's not consumer-friendly. Like, why buy a whole $70 campaign guide if you only want to use one part of it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of those things, you know? So yeah, D&D's been like... D&D's had a lot of controversy over the years, you know what I mean? Let's see. What am I doing? See, the other bad part about painting yellow is that you really need to wait for it to dry 100%. Like, if you try to put the next layer of yellow on too soon, then it'll just get, like, splotchy and ruined. Like, I kind of fucked up on one of these rockets down here. Let's see if that focuses up. Oh, you can't really see it on the camera, which is good. You know what I mean? But, you know, at the end of the day, it's... at the end of the day, it's all little flaws that only I can see. Only little flaws that I can see. Yeah, like, I definitely think I put the second yellow layer on that a little bit too soon, so I'm going to need to wait for that to dry. I've also got to take the time to actually, like, wash out my brushes, because I never do that. And that is really bad for the brushes. Like, I literally just bought this brush, like, 2 weeks ago, and I think it's already ruined, honestly. Like, the bristles are already starting to fray, there's already paint locked down at its base. I cannot be trusted to take care of my things. You know what I mean? By the way, what was your first figure? That is an interesting question, because I think my first Warhammer figure was a metal Space Marine that I got for free at a Warhammer store during a promotion that they were doing for the game, sort of thing. And I was only like 12 or 13 at the time, so I had this really high-quality, premium metal Space Marine figurine, and I gave it the worst paint job known to man. Like, everyone's first paint job in Warhammer is always a little bit bad, right? Well, it's not a little bit bad, it's awful. You don't know what you're doing, you're thinking on your feet, you probably haven't looked up any tutorials or anything whatsoever, and you just go for it. When I say that this Space Marine that I painted was bad, it was genuinely awful. Like, I did not prime this Space Marine at all. I just put those paints directly from the pot to the model, and I painted every one of his limbs a completely different color. His body was, I think, yellow, his shoulder was like red, one of his arms was blue, one of them was green. I was like 12 at the time. You know what I mean? I was 12 painting this really premium, like, promotional metal Space Marine. You know what I mean? And I feel ashamed, because this was a Warhammer model that, like, it was probably a collector's item, and I destroyed it with my efforts. But that means he's a beloved piece of my family. I do not still have him because he is in another country. He is in my home country because I did not bring him with me because I did not have space in my suitcase. I'm going home later in the year to see my family, so I will pick up all of the awful models that I painted, and I will show absolutely everybody. Makes me feel strong drinking from my fucking workout container. Show Orc? You know I'll show Orc. Okay, I think for my own sanity, I need to stay away from the yellows a little bit. Hold on, let me just bring the light up here so I can see what I'm looking at here. These Squighog boys that I'm painting have a lot of, like, really boring colors that I just need to get through. Like, they've sort of got some brown, like, coppery sort of metals on their shoulders. They've also got a lot of furs on their back here, which is probably really hard to see. But I'm using, like, really boring colors for them. Like, I think that's, what, Raykarth flesh? And it's... like, it'll look good once the shade paints and all the, like, highlighting are on. And all the, like, edge highlighting's on and everything like that. But when you're doing just the flat colors, it's really boring. It's really boring to paint a model like beige, you know what I mean? I love the new Squig models. I didn't think I was going to be a Squig fan, you know what I mean? But then I bought some Squighog boys, and now I love them. Like, I didn't think I was going to go for any, like, Beast Snaggers or Squighog boys in the army that I put together, but now that I have them, I'm kind of thinking, like, damn, what if I just bought an entire army of Beast Snaggers and rode into battle on these giant fucking monstrosities? Fucking love these guys. Orks are just fun. Like, I know people complain and say that, like, oh, Orks, you know, they're not serious. They, like, fucking... they ruin the seriousness of the game. Lighten up. They're fun. Alright. I think, what paint do I need? Time for me to reach into my bag of Warhammer Paints, which is just a Walmart bag that has every paint color known to man in it. It is an awful management system, and I simply need a better one. Let's see, what am I doing? What am I doing? Where are you? Abaddon Black. Very close to the color I want, but not it. I am looking for you. No, this is Warplock Bronze. I need Rhinox Hide. Do I have it out here already? No, I don't. Of course I don't. Of course I didn't plan ahead. You're not Citadel paint. This is like Gundam paint. Where did this come from? What the fuck? Oh, that's right. I bought a bunch of, like, Gundam acrylic paints because they were cheaper than Warhammer paints, because I was like, you know what? Maybe I could just use these for my mini paints. Oh, they don't work. I mean, if they do, I probably need to, like, look up a tutorial on how to use them, but, yeah, I don't know how these work. Let's see, where is it? Rhinox Hide? No, Agrax Earthshade. Rhinox Hide? Mornfang Brown. Close, but no cigar. Rhinox Hide, Rhinox Hide, Rhinox Hide, Rhinox Hide, Rhinox Hide. Abaddon Black again. Why do I have 2 Abaddon Blacks in there? Because I just keep buying paints! I like this dude, he's funny as hell. Hell yeah! I'm just a weird little guy, and that's all I will ever be. This isn't the paint that I'm looking for, this is Nagaroth Night, but it's sticky for some reason. And I don't like that. Because if this paint is sticky, that implies that one of my paints in this magical bag of paint that I have is open and spilling. And that scares me. Because then that'll be like $7 down the drain. What am I doing? Are you it? No, Gorthgore Brown. There is nothing worse than needing like one specific Warhammer paint and just not being able to find it. Come on, where are you? I swear to God, if I left this out in the other room, I'm going to jump out my window. I live on the 7th floor of my building. That will really hurt when I hit the ground. Rhinox Hide! I got it. Of course, it was one of the closest ones to me that I just completely missed. Okay. Ugh. Alright, there we go. Your orcs look cool? Hell yeah, thank you. I'm trying my best. I'm getting through it. I'm getting through it. Right. Okay, I need to focus for this one, because, like, I've got... So basically, this guy's got a bunch of, like, leather straps going across his body, which are probably going to be a little bit difficult to see. Mostly because I haven't been able to paint them in properly. Look at the angle there. Like, yeah, he's sort of got a... oh no, it's over there. The camera's mirrored. So yeah, across his, like, shoulder down here, he's got, like, a strap sort of thing. So I just need to paint those in with a, I just need to paint those in with the same leathery brown I've used for a lot of other of my sort of leather bits. I guess there's not really any right word to say that. One thing I'm really, like... So many straps, God. Yeah. And see, I've really screwed up because, like, I built him out in such a way where, like... Where is he? Like, you can see he's sort of got, like, an arm across his body, like that. Which means I can't really... It's going to be really hard to get a paintbrush, like, into his chest area here because his big, chunky arm is, like, completely blocking it. And that's going to be a nightmare, and it's probably going to mean I'm going to have to cram my brush in there. I'm going to destroy the brush. I'm going to paint all over the green of his flesh, which means I'm going to have to go paint that again. And it's just going to be a nightmare for me. Where is my shirt from? I think I bought this shirt from AliExpress. And I can't remember which brand it is specifically. But I was just in the market for something cheap and cute, and that's what I went for. I need to find like a local goth or alternative store that ships to Canada easily. Because I haven't found one of those yet, and I would like to. Let's see. Oh god, is this brush even going to be able to do it for me? This is the newest brush that I have, and it's probably the pointiest. But I've used it for a little bit already, and it is kind of like... the ends are already starting to fray, you know what I mean? I saw your outfits and shorts and wanted to drop by and say your outfit is nice. Thank you. That means a lot to me, because it came from you, specifically. Alright. Let's see. Okay, I need to go through the whole process again. I've got my Lamy and medium. I've got my water. Got my Rhinox hide. Honestly, I've gotten a lot of my stuff at thrift stores. Honestly, that's where I think I need to start paying attention to more. Thrift stores are the fucking best. You can find some absolute fire fits there, and they're all for really cheap. You just have to be okay with the fact that the clothes you are wearing are potentially from somebody who has died. Because that's how 90% of things end up in thrift stores. I'm sorry to be the one to break the bad news to you, but if you buy fire thrift fits, the original owner's probably dead. Sorry. Closest version is from the Rags and Rituals online store. Hell yeah! Source found. Okay, everybody, shh, shh, shh. I need everybody to be absolutely silent. Okay, I need to paint some like really fine details on this thing, and I'm gonna need absolute silence. Everybody, stop talking. I need silence. I need to think. Everybody, stop talking. You're still talking. You're still typing things. You're still being present. I need shh, silence. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay, no spillages yet. No spillages yet. I got this. 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 Silence. Silence. Okay. Oh wow, I straight up just didn't paint the back of this strap before at all. I am so tense right now. Like, you don't even know. Like, if I paint even, like, an inch outside of the lines on this fucking leather strap that's back here, I'm gonna have to do, like, 7 layers of yellow just to fill that in. You know what I mean? It's gonna be hard, man. Okay. Okay. We're good. Shh, shh, shh. I need silence. I need silence. Shh, shh. Okay. Strap painted. It's only like 1 layer. I'm gonna have to go back and do a whole bunch of other layers anyway. God. Let's see. I need to make sure I'm getting this guy in the lights. Okay, so first of all, I have absolutely fucked up the thinning of the paint. By which I mean it is too thin. Which means I'm going to have to go back and do this several different times, because I'm going to need several different layers of leathery brown to paint on this one fucking strap that's sitting in the danger zone. Don't forget the weathering. Now, hot take from me. Hot take from me. I'm not super into the weathering effect on a lot of models. Like, I know it looks good. I know it looks good. Do not get me wrong. If I see a really weathered Warhammer model that looks like it's absolutely been through hell and high water, I think that looks cool. It's just not the aesthetic that maybe I want to go for. You know what I mean? And that's just a personal thing. Like, I recognize that. I recognize that. Yeah, I just need to... Yeah, just know I can't be funny or entertaining when I'm, like, having to snipe out these details or absolutely destroy the model that I have. Unsubbed and unfollowed, weathering's like the best thing ever. Well, and that's what I said. I said weathering like looks cool, right? Weathering looks cool. It's just not what I want to do. Besides, I looked at a tutorial for how to weather Warhammer models. I looked at a tutorial on how to like weather Warhammer models, and it said, okay, the first thing you want to do is spray your model with a can of hairspray. Like actual hairspray for your hair. Although I did watch like the full tutorial because I think it was in a White Dwarf magazine that I had. And it was like, yeah, spray it with hairspray so that when you put a whole, like, a new layer of, like, rusty paint on, it's really easy to, like, take off in chunks. So it has a really, like, a really good, like, rust effect. I know I'm absolutely not explaining that properly, but I am under no obligation to do so. Okay. There's a whole bunch of, like, creative different things that you can do with your Warhammer models. Like, I've seen people use, like, all kinds of shit in their paint jobs. Cadians are superior. Hell yeah. I almost started building Guard, you know what I mean? Like, I almost started, like, when I was really, like, sitting down to be like, okay, what army do I want to build? Guard was up there. Because I just love guys who are guys. Just dudes. You know what I mean? Just dudes running around with blasters. Okay. Alright. What's Warhammer? God, I don't even know, man. I don't even know anymore. Okay, I need to put another sort of like bronze layer on the back of his gun because painting dark brown over a black base coat is really just like, it's really a losing game because you can barely tell what's base coat and what's the actual color you want it to be. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm just going over layer after layer with just the same drab brown. This is why I've kind of wanted to go back to painting Space Marines, because I was like, at least then I could just do some fun colors. Like some really bright blue. You know what I mean? I will say, the bronze brown color that I'm using, it's an ass to paint, because like it just looks, it doesn't look great as you're painting it. So like all throughout the painting process, I'm like, hey, this sucks, this is awful, I hate myself, I'm doing a terrible job, no one's gonna love me, you know, it's all gonna fall apart. And then as soon as I start, like, dry brushing it and getting a bit of detail on it, I'm like, hey, this fucks. This goes hard. There we go. Put some layers of paint on there. Like, as soon as I'm going to be able to start putting some layered metallics on this thing, I think it's going to look great. You know what I mean? I know of the battle nuns, but they're not girly enough for me. Hey, that's the great part about Warhammer. You can make things as pretty and as pink as you want. Well, implying that pink is inherently feminine is not what I'm trying to get out there, but I get what you mean. You know, like it's war. It's war. Let's see. All right. See, now, do I paint this missile that's attached to him? Like, it's like, the gun arm has got, like, the bronze-brown color to it. And I was like, do I keep the missile black? Do I keep it like or do I paint it like a different color? Like, I don't... I've been tossing up whether I wanted to paint the missile red, because the squig's pretty red. All of the other squigs in the fucking group are also pretty red. You know what I mean? But, like... I don't know. I don't know. Do I just keep it black? I feel like if I keep it black against the bronze brown of the rest of him, or the rest of his arm rather. Oh, actually, when I'm looking at it in proper light, I think that'd be all right. I still need to put more yellow on the tip of the rocket. You know what I mean? My wolves are painted pink. Looks epic. Hell yeah. I'd say checkerboard, but that seems really hard. Oh god, I'm not strong enough for checkerboard. Like, honestly, I think that, I mean, I kind of want to do it on the jet. You know what I mean? Because, like, the default paint job for the Dakka jet has, it's got checkerboard on, like, the edges of the wings. And I feel like that, Actually, I take that back. I think the default Dakka jet wings are set up a little bit differently. That's like easier to draw checkers on. I've sort of got a variant wing on it that's sort of like angled. You know what I mean? That's because I wanted to put a whole bunch of machine guns on there. You can see I've got like 4 machine guns. I've got 6 machine guns on there actually. Oh, including the 2 down here. That's fucking 8. You know what I mean? I love the figure that you're making. Thank you. I enjoy it as well. This thing's covered in dust. I think I need to, like, spray it down with compressed air before I paint it next. Like, if I do another layer of paint on this bad boy, then I'm just gonna, like, seal, like, months worth of dust and ambient dog hair into the paint job. The only paint job that's non-vegan. Alright. That's a lot of guns. And I got 2 more here. That was cringe. It's the only cringe thing I've done. Put Harlequin patterns on those orcs. I am not strong enough for Harlequin anything. You know what I mean? Let's see. Because, like, the checkers that you put on the Harlequins are, like, they're next level. Like, people who paint Harlequins are, like, absolutely something else. Yeah. Jesus, what's happening out there? Love that mildly sinister laugh. That's just how I sound. That's just how I sound. Okay, what do I need to do? What's my next step for him? I still don't know what color... Like, he's holding a weird little, like, fish thing in his giant mutant hand. I have no idea what color I'm going to paint that yet. Like, absolutely no idea. There's so much little detail. Okay, I think there's a couple of like bronzy browns that I can still do. Like I feel like my main goal for this sort of painting session is to just run maintenance on a bunch of things. Like I'm doing some extra layers of yellow, I'm doing some extra layers of the bronzy brown. Oh, I'm absolutely out of focus. Must have completely cropped off my head. I gotta watch out for that. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like little things I just need to like get through so I can start doing the fun stuff when it comes to painting my model. So yeah, there's that. Maybe blue would be too primary. I was thinking blue, but like I don't think I have the right blue for it. Like maybe I could use the Fang because that's a very muted blue in the Citadel color range. But I definitely wouldn't think Macragge blue or Thousand Suns blue because Thousand Suns blue is very bright, but it is also one of my favorite blues that the Citadel paint has. You know what I mean? Like here's my fucking custom Tyrannid paint job with the Thousand Suns blue. Focus! Hey, camera, focus. Focus on what's important. Not me. There we go. Yeah, there it is. Like the Thousand Suns paint job, the Thousand Suns blue paint job that I put in this Tyrannid. Yeah, it's sort of like a turquoise blue. I was really happy with how that came out. Like I wasn't interested in painting the Tyrannids at all. Like I literally only did that one Tyrannid because I was like, well, he's there. I might as well paint him because I got him, you know. But now that I painted him, I'm like, oh, actually, this was really fun, and I could see myself painting a whole lot more of these. Cleanest one? Hell yeah. Alright. Alright. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like little things I still need to do. Like I just want to make sure that I'm covering the model with all the bronzes, all the metals, all the yellows that I need to do. Because like once I start slathering down the shade paints, there's really gonna be like no going back for me. You know what I mean? I love your outfit. Thank you. I do too. There we go. There we go. Yeah, and there's like a lot of pieces that are like hidden or obscured from view, and like if I don't give them a proper coating now, then they're just gonna be like black and shadowed. You know what I mean? There we go. It definitely doesn't help that I'm kit bashing a whole bunch of mechanical pieces onto like a really organic unit like the Squighog boys. Like the Squighog boys traditionally have like, you know, they're riding squigs. Like they're covered in like skin and muscle and furs and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Alright. Alright. Yeah, and like especially it's especially hard when I'm like priming in black as well, because it's like, yeah, I don't know. I want to make sure that I get good coverage, because like I'm afraid that I'm gonna get a bunch of different bronzy browns with a bunch of different what do you call it? With a bunch of different values, like color values. Like I'm afraid I'm gonna get some browns that are like deeper or darker or like not consistent. Because for me, one of the most satisfying things about painting Warhammer is just the satisfaction you get from having like a whole army sitting on your bench, sitting on your table, and having it clearly be like unified and like all in the same faction or what have you. Blacks are a hard time. I use grey. I hear that grey is becoming like more and more popular. Like, I obviously, like, I mean, I prime in black because I guess that's just what I've been told. Like, I guess I just don't know any other way. But yeah, it's... I just want to make sure it's consistent. I just want to make sure it's got the right coverage. Because even, like, every time I turn around this model, I'm like, oh, there's an entire, like, pit of flesh that I have not colored in. Gray's good for mid-turn? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I normally prime in black if it's just most models, generally. However, for like, I've been trying to experiment with priming in white. Like I said, the Tyranny that I sort of showed before, primed them in white. Nah, it's not going to focus, that's fine. And I also got a whole bunch of Imperial Guard that I primed in white because I wanted to try contrast paints for the first time. Came across your live and you're looking fabulous. Thank you. I try my best. Try being the operative term there. Okay, I definitely added too much water to this coat of paint, so now I'm just trying to, like, use it in as many places as possible so I don't waste it. Just a nice little thin coat to build up some of the colors. You'll love to see it. Alright. Let's see. And there's a whole, because this guy's like the leader model, there's a whole bunch of splaces. Because this is the leader model, there's a whole bunch of, he's got a whole bunch of like extra detail that a lot of the other units don't have, which means out of all the units that I'm painting for the Squighog boys, he's got the most like unique colors that I'm going to need to take into consideration. Like he's wearing a pelt with like a paw and claw on it, so I'm like, okay, I need like a fleshy paw color that isn't, you know, orc skin green or like toothy bone. And things like that, you know what I mean? Have a good stream and stay fabulous? I will. I'll try to, at least. Alright. Okay, these paints are starting to dry out. Okay. Do you have a Gazgul? I do have a Gazgul. Actually, that's let me grab him. Let me grab the big man. Oh, he's like under like 12 different things, so I can't reach towards him. Oh, there he is. There's the big man. Still, again, very much a work in progress. I've got most of the base coloring down on him. I still need to do the base and put some Xandri dust there. I also still need to put metallics. You can see that all of his like gun barrels are just like flat gray, and all of the pipes on his back are also flat gray. So I need to put a layer of lead belcher on there as well. But the bony claws, you know, I'm having fun with them. I think I want to get a couple of different like layer paints to do more like highlighting on the bone, because I don't really have anything that I can do that with. Like the most, oh god, focus. No. Focus. I'm just gonna be blurry for the rest of the day. That's fine. Oh, there we go. But yeah, like I think I've got most of the flat layers down on Gazgul. I just need to go in with all of the shiny metallics and all of the like minuscule details. But I want to get some extra layer paint so I can do some more detailing on the bone. Because one thing that you'll see from Gazgul's like official like cover art that he has on the box and everything like that, is that, what do you call it? It's got a lot of detail on the claws, which I think would be really easy to do if I could just get in there with like a really fine brush and like a sort of like light bone sort of color, but I don't have a lot of like layer paints that will allow me to do that. But I'm liking how he's coming out. I also need to remind myself that he has a metal jaw cover that I'm painting separately. Which means that, like, the space underneath his neck there is just complete barren void. So I need to go through and I need to fix that. You know what I mean? There we go. I wonder if the mesh confuses the camera. It is absolutely not the mesh that confuses the camera. It's just... the camera just does that. Right. Okay. Alright. I think I got most of the coverage that I'm looking to get now. Like, really all I wanted to do today was to just put a couple of extra layers on some of the more basic stuff, or, like, some of the more yellows and bronzes, which I need to layer up in order to finish the models. So I think that's going to be, like... I think that's going to be it for me for now. Like, I mostly just wanted to run maintenance on some of the models that I haven't touched in a while, just to keep the ball rolling there. But I think I'm probably not going to stream for super long tonight. I did an hour 10. Normally I go for like an hour and a half. So that's a pretty good run for me. I need to eat food. I'm incredibly hungry. So I'm going to go do that. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging around and chilling out while I painted my little guys. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. If it's not evening where you are right now, go fuck yourself. That's kidding. I'm lying. Get out of here. Oh, that's right. I need to press buttons to actually end this, don't I?